Howdy everybody. I'm here to do a kind of different video from my norm. Might not do well, but it's alright. I want to inform everyone and talk to everyone about my living situation. And we'll just do a nice garden walk as we go, because I'm not a big fan of just sitting in a room and talking to a screen. I'd rather be walking past the plants. But I've mentioned it here and there, and a lot of my subscribers know me a bit more personally, so they know this, but I'd like to talk about it to those that don't know me personally. The way I live my life right now is I have a normal, typical retail type job. And while I'm doing that for currently 3 days out of my work week, I live in town and I can't do anything on the garden. So I'm gone for 3 days out of each work week, unable to do anything out here. And that's the big obstacle behind me and livestock. This is my parents' property. I don't want to buy or get animals just for them to have to take care of them for about half of the time. Just isn't right to me. So, that's why I don't have animals yet, for those of you wondering why I don't have chickens or anything. I'd like them, but I can't do it right now. Which brings me to my next point. I try not to be too much of a beggar, but that's why I ask for support on Patreon, my Etsy, things like that. And once my YouTube gets big enough, membership will be an option, and I'll be able to, start making some money off of ad revenue. I mention this stuff because as I make more money more reliably from these sources, I will be able to take less time to work at my retail job and more time to work out here, shooting videos, growing plants, taking care of all the weeds that have taken over. As much as I knock them back, I just don't have enough time to do, acres worth of weeding. But maybe if I have chickens, I can run them through here and the chickens might tear up the weeds for me. That might be the next solution once I can. But yeah, just my living situation. How do I live my life? What are my obstacles right now? I really like a lot of my life. I'm not upset about it. But, I just wanted to explain that is the why I'm trying to get more support. Now, I'm not saying you have to, or I'm going to quit making videos or anything like that, though expect my videos to slow down greatly as winter comes in, because I won't have anything to really show off. But right now I have beautiful things like this goldenrod still left. Lavender down there. But in time, I would like to make more videos, more consistent videos, more consistently in general. Do things for my fans. But, for now, I'm available for 4 days out of the week, and I try to make the most of it. Suppose I should talk about my biggest obstacle while I'm here, and that is myself. I have a couple different chronic illnesses. Not going to get into it too much, other than just I'm sore and tired a lot of the time, and generally sickly. I have a very high pain tolerance because I've always been sick and just never knew it was different. So I always thought everyone was constantly in pain. So I ignored appendicitis as a child for way too long and lost a large amount of my intestines. So while I'm lucky enough to not need a bag or anything like that to live my life normally, I have a sensitive stomach. I'm just more sensitive to some things than I'd like to be. But, you can see how much I've done out here, all these raspberries and everything. I'm getting things done. I just wish I could get more done for everybody. Wish I was more able to achieve things for everybody. But I keep at it, and I'll keep keeping at it. So there's just a bit of the personal details about my life. Some people say that sharing the details of your life is a way to doom your channel. Others say it's important for clarity with the fans. So I'm just going to be honest. But already the support I've received has allowed me to do so much. I mean, this weekend or next, I'm going to receive 2 20-pound bags of milky spore, which is a infection that can only kill the invasive Japanese beetles. It can't harm anything else. And I'm going to go around my entire property, or my parents' entire property, an entire 4 acres, with a teaspoon, and every 2 feet, scoop out of the 20-pound bag and dump a teaspoon. Walk 2 feet, scoop out of the 20-pound bag, drop a teaspoon. Every 2 feet, up and down the entire property, 4 acres. It is going to be a huge undertaking. And it won't even give me results on year 1. But it will last for 20 years, according to what I've read. 1 weekend of hard work for 20 years of greatly reducing the worst pest that I have, aside from squash borers, and an invasive one at that, with no other species hurt by the application. That sounds like a perfect thing to me. So I'm excited for it. And that is only possible due to your support. I am using the money that I've made from Patreon to buy that order. It's $160 something for that much. So it's expensive, make no mistake, but it's going to be a worthwhile investment. Look at that pear-shaped gourd in there. That's absolutely gorgeous shape. It's what I wanted when I ordered these ones. There we go. Put it in my hand, you can see decent size. And it's hanging, so it'll have a really straight neck. But yeah, the support I've received so far from Patreon alone, Patreon has been just about $400 since I started. That is a huge amount of money that people have given to me out of the kindness of their hearts and out of the wantingness to see me succeed. And bit by bit, I'd say there has been a whole lot of success. So truly, thank you all. Every single one of my supporters, thank you. Winter's coming along, and I already made a video on the topic, but if you have any idea what you want me to work on all winter, I'd love more ideas. Anything. Because I don't want to just dry up and maybe upload once a month or once a week. I'd like to at least try to do twice a week if I can. Give me ideas. So let me know if you can think of anything on that. But that's my physical health covered, and my work or lifestyle covered. I've mentioned it before. Some of you may know I have a wife and a little one. They live in town year-round right now. Until I make enough money that I can leave my job, they're going to continue to live in town. So that does take up a pretty large amount of money. So eventually, when we all move out here, that's going to be a huge money saver, but that's not in the cards until I'm making a lot more. But someday I really hope to be. Of course, if nothing else, once the chestnuts mature, those will be a good enough money maker to make that happen. But yeah, I have a lot of goals, a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams, and I can't stress enough that you guys, you gals, everybody in between, you have been the help that I have needed to get here. You've been the reason I've kept pushing, the reason that I've pushed through any time I felt like giving up. So I can't thank my supporters, my fans, enough for everything you've done. Thank you for that. other stuff. I'm trying to think of other stuff I should probably talk about in this video, about just general life stuff. Well, it's off topic, but absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna zoom in, y'all. Beautiful praying mantis right in the middle of that Soshan or cutleaf coneflower. Don't know if I'll be able to get a good zoom in, or a good focus, I should say. But yep, won't be able to get much focus, but beautiful, beautiful praying mantis. Okay. So that's a bit about my regular life, who I am outside of the channel. But, you know, maybe my goals for the channel for the future, for everything I do, I want to make things that no one else makes, no one else supplies. I want to make food for people around me, my community. I want to make living more affordable, more possible. You know, these are all very, very lofty goals. Goals that I don't know that I'll really be able to just make happen, but things I want to make a difference in. You know, a single chestnut tree, I think, can make over 10,000 calories in a year when they drop. That's a lot of food. Whether I sell it all, whether I donate some, whether I end up feeding it to farm animals, you know, maybe the ugly ones. But that's a lot of food for a lot of hungry mouths to feed. Look at all these tomatoes I didn't plant. That's a pretty good amount of food for free. But, you know, that's my goal. I want to feed people. I want to make tools in my smithing shop that no one else makes. Solve problems. You know, I want to make artwork that's unique. So, just some thoughts on what my plans are, what my goals are, what I want to achieve out here. If there's any goals that you want to see me shoot for, anything you want to see me achieve, I want to have those questions in the comments too, or those ideas. You know, I've done a couple videos on things like hiding your food forests, or why you should hide your food forests, or, you know, I mentioned in passing that especially when I was younger, I had a huge interest in ninjutsu teachings, not the magic in movies, but the actual, you know, not so much the martial arts aspect, but the aspect of blending in to your environment, you know, leave no trace, things that we in camping communities still do just out of respect, but for them was a matter of survival. You know, living off the land without leaving a trace behind on it, things like that. You know, lots of different things like that I could think of that I could maybe talk about, even though I haven't been an expert in that stuff in forever. Oh, there's a little barn kitty. Let's see if they run away when I point the camera. Yep, just a little barn kitty. They're all still so scared of me, so I'm not going to push his personal bubble, but little barn kitty. Yep, so maybe ninjutsu would be a topic that people would like, or maybe had a few people already ask me about doomsday prepper type content. I don't know that I really like the term prepper or survivalist or all that stuff, but I suppose I've always been in that kind of circle or that kind of mindset. You know, I've heard some people say that there are no preppers in Appalachia, it's just life there. And I suppose that's sort of how I look at it. The idea that we need to be prepared to take care of ourselves, at least for a while, is just something that I've kind of always held as a human quality. Up until recently, the idea that your government would take care of you all the time was a very foreign idea. Generally, people had the expectation that they were on their own. And while I love that our government has reached a point it can help more people, the more people who can take care of themselves means that that aid can be focused on those who couldn't. You know, if I, an able-bodied individual, can get myself out of a sticky situation, that's one more person who's less able that will get that help, or can get that help. Beautiful Hopness vines. Definitely one of my absolute favorite plants all over the homestead. I might do a video in fall harvesting a bunch of these and spreading them everywhere. I don't know if I'll eat any this year. I don't know how many I can really expect to pull up, but I want to harvest them and spread them, just to have tons of them in future years. I don't take care of them in any major way. I just try to put them near places they can thrive and leave them to it. I also may do more, or may do a few videos on my efforts in things like guerrilla gardening, and Hopness would be ideal for that. Digging up those little bitty acorn-sized tubers and hiking off into the woods and returning them. Now, this isn't an invasive species, this is an American native to my region, and returning them to the forests where they once were, allowing them to rejoin the life cycle of the forest. I'd love to do a few videos on that at some point. I couldn't make a ton, but a couple videos on that. Here's where my other gourds are. Right here. I bought birdhouse gourds, but I'm thinking these might be too huge for purple martins like I bought them for. They'll make something beautiful, whether I make water jugs or something. Hopefully we get a few more medium-sized ones off of the vine. It's a nice one right there that's more mid-sized. But beautiful squash and beautiful gourd flower. But yeah, so my living situation, my working situation, my family's situation, so to speak. I wouldn't call it a situation, that makes it sound bad, but I love my family, I love my life with them. Just in general, where things are at for me, what your money will be contributing towards if you choose to help out, all of that sort of stuff. I now have a Patreon, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, and Instagram. I have all of those platforms if you want to look for me on them. So, can't think of anything else right now, but thank you all for watching. Thank you all for giving me your time. Thank you all for giving me a chance. I hope I've impressed here on my first year of work. You know, not just in my YouTube channel, but in general, you know. Every single one of those trees you see, come on. Yeah, every single one of those white tubes is a chestnut tree that I dug and planted by hand. I paid almost $3,000 when I factor in shipping. Biggest purchase of my life, biggest investment of my life. But someday that will hopefully feed so many people around here. So thank you all for what you do. Thank you for every view, every like. Thank you for every visit to my other shop, to my Etsy shop, to my Patreon, everything. And I hope to see you all in the next video, or the next short, or wherever you'd like to find me. See you all again very soon, and hopefully in a few years we can all be sitting back eating chestnuts and talking about the past and the journey to get here. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day, everyone.